Hey folks, how you doing out there? Should all acquaintance be forgot? And happy Robert Burns night. I already forgot as many of those lyrics. Uh, I just thought I'd come at you here a little bit and talk about one of my favorites, one of the OGs here in terms of Scotch whiskey. Tonight is Robert Burns night. If you don't know who that is, wonderful uh, Scottish author and lyricist, and the Scots still kind of hold this night in high regard. He's a poet and a lyricist, as I said, and kind of an all-around, character, if you will. Don't mind me so saying. Anyway, it's a big tradition there in Scotland to do all manner of things in the Scottish tradition, haggis, and all these different things, and maybe drink a dram or so. I don't care about that, but if there's a reason for me to pull out one of my favorite Scotch whiskies, I'm going to go ahead and do it. But there's also good reason to talk about it because, as I said, this is my favorite, one of my favorites of all time, the Bunnahabhain 12. Bunnahabhain 12 comes from the island of Islay, up on the northeast coast, kind of a remote area, and they're one of the particular Islay Scotch whiskies that do not peat their core range of products and whiskeys. They're unpeated variety, and they do offer a couple other ones that they do some peated whiskey, but primarily they're known for this wonderful blend of ex-bourbon and ex-sherry cask whiskeys, usually unpeated, but still because of its location and where this stuff is aged, it picks up this little salty flavor as well as many other flavors. Unfortunately, tonight, I slowed down a little bit because I pulled the cork and went a little fast. I haven't opened this in a while, and we got a busted cork, so I'm going to have to decant this and rinse it out with nice hot water, let it dry out, and then find some cheesecloth and do that because I got a little bit of cork floating in there. Doesn't bother me too much, but it looks like there's a couple more particles than I want floating around my whiskey, so I'm going to probably decant that one. I've done it before. It's weird. It's ones that there's no rhyme or reason to this, but I've had 3 corks break that I had to decant, and it's Old Pulteney. I can't remember the other one. It was another Speyside one, and then this one. And all 3 of them are known for their salty character. There is no salt in this, but that's the flavor of the aging. But anyway, it's just kind of a funny one. So I broke the cork on that. It's happened before. I'll take care of it. I got extra corks. Bunnahabhain 12, as you can see here, this was the first one that I mentioned this many times, I kind of shopped around and found. I did my research. It's like, what is the next Scotch whiskey I'm going to have? What am I going to buy? What am I going to enjoy? And I bought this, and it's been a favorite for a long time. A lot of people's favorites. It's a 12-year-old whiskey. All natural color, all unchill filtered, bottled at I think 46.3%. That's wonderful. I will tell you now that if you're going to buy a single malt Scotch whiskey and you wanted to buy a 12-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey, unpeated, peated, whatever, I will tell you that this one at 12 years old is going to be the best. I would recommend this one over many, many others. And since this is about the only 12-year-old, there's probably a couple, but Glenmorangie, let's put it this way. It's the only 12-year-old. It used to be you could get 12-year-olds for $60. That was kind of the going rate. Okay, a couple of the other ones had some cheaper ones, 50 to 60. This one used to be around 55. A lot of other 12-year-olds have gone up in price to 70, 75, all that. This one remains at 60, and if you want to spend $60 and get one of the best Scotch whiskeys, single malt Scotch whiskeys out there, Bunnahabhain 12 is hard to beat. I like to call this one, and I've called this one for a long time, kind of like the universal whiskey because it has some ex-bourbon notes in there. It has Speyside whiskey notes, like a Glenmorangie but better, like a Balvenie but better. It has some ex-sherry notes that are not overpowering. And then again, since this is aged in this very remote warehouse, right on the sea there, it just gets this kind of salty vibe to it. This slight. There's a lot of crispness. I'll give you the flavor notes here. On my nose tonight. Sorry, Michelle has there's some vegetables here that are kind of brown sugar, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of a hint of a sherry note. There's a wafer note here that's really nice. I'm gonna roll this glass a little bit. No bits of wood in there that I can see from the breaking of the cork. Breaking of the cork. It has a warming, a little bit of nutmeg, and as you breathe it in, when you first start breathing, you don't get a whole lot of alcohol bite, but then as you start breathing in, you start realizing this is at least a 46.3. Maybe not fixed, not the 0.3 part, but you can tell you're not drinking a 43% whiskey or something like that, or a 40. On the taste, there is a hints of, as I said, caramel and clove, a little bit of sweetness. The ex-bourbon is giving you a little bit of an oaky flavor. The ex-sherry cask here element, which I think is lower, gives you just a hint of fig and raisin, but nothing overpowering on that. Gorgeous color, but there's also a, when I say salty, it's like you know how like wafer cookies, the one that has that like little cream in there, and they're cheap, will also have some salt in there. That's the kind of note in here. It's like wafer salty crispness with a little bit of vanilla. It is just so tasty. Sorry, I'm looking over my glasses because my glasses are, this is really tough to read. It's just really good. I think this is our third bottle, if I'm not mistaken, on this. We've given it to a couple of people. They always love it. If you're a Scotch whiskey fan, single malt Scotch whiskey in particular, and let's say you have 4 or 5 or 6 single malt Scotch whiskeys in your collection, if this one isn't in there, then you're doing something wrong. I don't mean that, but this is just very good. So that's why I drink it. It's just very traditionally very interesting. The balance of the bourbon, ex-bourbon, and sherry is just perfect, and it hits your tongue, and it just it gives you everything you want. There's a little bit of a dark oak note there, and that's balanced with some kind of raisin and plum flavors. There's a hint of a tobacco note in there, but it's not like tangy or pungent. On the nose, as I'm starting to breathe a little more, I'm getting, again, just it's hard to explain, like a little bit of a barbecue note, which is weird. Or I shouldn't say that, burnt sugar note. Just let it linger. I can spend so much time on that, and that's what I like about this. I'm spending a lot of time because you have to search for these different scents and different flavors. It's not one note, but it's not overpowering. They don't all come out and grab you right away, and that's why I love this stuff so much. Just challenging enough. It's beautiful, and the label for the 12 is almost the exact same shade of the End Live Video button on Facebook. Can't say enough about Bunnahabhain. Check out their webpage. I will put the link in the notes. The kind of the talk of the town for the last couple of years is the same exact bottling, the same as back, but at cask strength. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the 22-year-old, or 2022, not 22-year-old, still just a 12-year-old. The 2022 edition was really like at the top, but I would take anyone, and I haven't been able to find one that wasn't at some kind of store that had so much markup that I couldn't afford it. So if you see the 12, I would recommend it. If you've already had the 12, lots of great reviews on the cask strength. Buy one for yourself. Buy one for me. I'll pay you back. I'll let you make that decision if you want me to pay you back for it. But I'm always interested in getting. Bunnahabhain is great. I have their what is it? Toychik Ga Smoky 2. That is one that they did peat. It's a no age statement. Not my favorite, but still very, very tasty. Everything they put out is quality. Bunnahabhain. It's the kind of whiskey that I would drink if I was going to be writing some poetry or some lyrics. I'm really bummed that I got to decant this bottle, but yeah, it's too bad. If you're wondering what that is, you got to keep it clean. Usually, what I do when I'm decanting a bottle is I'll take some other vessel. I have an actual carafe that I use, and I'll rinse that out with hot water, purified water, something of that nature. Let it dry. Then I'm going to use cheesecloth and pour this into that. Okay, usually I put cheesecloth on top of a just your regular, not filter. What's the word I'm looking for? Mesh basket. Why, I've just lost the word of that. Strainer. Pour it in. Then rinse this out with purified hot water. Let that dry. Put it back in. Find a new cork. Sometimes I don't let it bother me, but like I said, you can probably see it in there. You can see the bit in there. So we'll see. It's kind of a drag that happens. Always remember, if you haven't opened your bottle for a while, and this happens more with Scotch whiskey corks. I don't know why. This is, you know what? I don't know if that's, what? Sometimes I think it's just certain bottles, especially this shape of bottle. Okay. Which has a relatively small hole, they just will go bad a little bit. It's always a good idea to not shake your whiskey, but just give a little bit of a kind of a tip, so that the bottom of that is, it's not moistening the cork. It's just giving it a little bit of something. Something is stuck a little bit to kind of move around in that. And I didn't do that tonight because I was kind of in a rush, and I broke my cork. But no big deal. All right, Bunnahabhain 12 on Robert Bird's night. Very tasty. Love it. Bunnahabhain 12, combination of the flavors that has. I can anger Michelle really quickly when I say, all the Scotch whiskey I bought. If I bought Spring Break 10, Bunnahabhain 12, and we got to get my favorite peated one in there, which currently isn't one of the big name brands. Let's say we've added, and Port Charlotte 10 or something a little bit older. You know what? I'll say the older Florida 16. If I had those three, I don't need anything else. It's just that good. All right. For old acquaintance be forgotten, I broke my cork.